Most people don't abandon their dreams because they lack talent. They abandon them because of time, because results don't show up fast enough, because effort feels invisible, because no one applauds the process. We've been conditioned to expect immediate progress, but life, and especially science, operates on a different clock. In Brazil, a neuroscientist named Tatiana Coelho de Sampaio decided to dedicate her life to a single question. She wasn't chasing headlines. She wasn't chasing recognition. She wanted to know, is it possible to restore neural connections in a damaged spinal cord? Tatiana Coelho de Sampaio is a Brazilian researcher and professor who has spent more than 2 decades studying spinal cord injury and neural regeneration. Her work focuses on understanding how the body might rebuild communication pathways that were once believed to be permanently lost. We are talking about traumatic spinal cord injury, a severe disruption in the spinal cord that can interrupt the communication between the brain and the body, in many cases leading to paralysis. Where movement once existed, silence replaces it. And it was inside that biological silence that she chose to remain, not for months, not for a few years, but for decades. This is not just a scientific story. It is a story about staying long enough in the process. The invisible beginning. Every major breakthrough begins quietly, behind lab doors, under microscopes, inside repeated experiments, hypotheses tested and rejected, data analyzed and revised. Tatiana's research centered around a naturally occurring protein called laminin. Laminin plays a crucial role during embryonic development. It forms a kind of 3-dimensional scaffold that helps neurons connect and communicate as the nervous system forms. But in adults, that regenerative environment largely disappears. The question that guided her work was both simple and bold. What if we could recreate that environment? What if injured neurons could be given structural support to grow again? Decades of refinement. The answer did not appear overnight. Years were spent studying the molecular structure of laminin, developing a polymerized form known as polylaminin or polylamin. This was not about miracles, it was about biology. The idea was to create a bioactive matrix, a microscopic scaffold that could act as both physical and chemical support at the site of spinal cord injury, a bridge where disruption once existed. Experimental studies began to show promising signals: axonal growth, reorganization of damaged tissue, indications of motor function improvement in experimental models. Nothing cinematic, nothing magical, but scientifically meaningful. While many would have shifted focus, changed direction, or walked away, she stayed. Persistence is not continuing when applause exists. It is continuing when there is only silence. Over time, research suggested that polylaminin could recreate at the injury site an environment similar to what exists during early neural development. In essence, neurons might be encouraged to find pathways again, to reconnect, to communicate. The concept of spinal regeneration moved from theoretical conversation to experimental possibility. Still under scientific validation, still undergoing research and evaluation, but real. Some media outlets have even acknowledged the global scientific relevance of her work, suggesting its potential long-term impact. But she did not work for awards. She worked for answers. Now, let's step out of the laboratory and look at you. How many times have you quit because progress felt too small? How many ideas died in year 2, in month 8, in week 3? Resilience is not emotional intensity, it is behavioral consistency. Perseverance is the decision to keep adjusting, even when improvement is microscopic. Dr. Tatiana did not wake up one day and witness a miracle. She observed tiny signals. She refined her approach. She tested again, and she repeated that process for decades. Maybe the problem isn't the difficulty of your goal. Maybe it's your relationship with time. So how far should you go in pursuit of a result? Until it works. But there is maturity in that statement. Persistence does not mean stubborn blindness. It means intelligent continuity. Learning, adjusting, evolving. Science teaches us something profound. Extraordinary results obey different clocks. Some people stop in year 3. Others cross year 23. And when advancement finally arrives, the world calls it revolutionary. But those who stayed know the truth. It wasn't sudden brilliance. It was disciplined repetition. It was permanence. Maybe your greatest mistake is not lack of ability. Maybe it's leaving too early. Stay, adjust, remain. Because sometimes what we call impossible is simply waiting for someone patient enough to not walk away.